Lake, Wisconsin. Champ Car is back in the Kettle Moraine for the 25th time. The Generac Champ Car Grand Prix of Road America about to unfold. The 10th race of 2007. 17 cars and drivers, all hungry for a victory. It's a very tight championship battle brewing. 3 drivers with a great shot at victory. 6 races to go to settle the fight for the Vanderbilt Cup in 2007, and we are live at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. ESPN on ABC, coverage of the Champ Car World Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us on a beautiful afternoon for racing. Jan Vikas is alongside. One of the big stories in the Champ Car World Series this season, Sebastian Bourdais' bid for 4 consecutive titles. What would he do in the future? He clarified that this week. He'll be moving to Formula One, the Toro Rosso team, come 2008.
We'll still have a lot of things to do here anyways. It won't affect that at all. I'm going to finish the season with that McDonald's team and try and go for the 4th championship.
And of course, he is very motivated to go after that championship as Sebastian, but it's also motivated anyone who wants to beat Sebastian on his home turf here before he leaves for Europe. So if you ever want to get a piece of Sebastian Bourdais, you've got to do it now.
Well, let's take a look at the championship standings. 5 drivers with a realistic opportunity. The top 3 have staged quite a fight. Dornbos and Power with 2 wins each. But really, Jan, Bourdais' advantage this season has been in the area of bonus points.
And you get bonus points from being fast in qualifying as well as being fast in the race and fastest laps. And of course, look at these figures. He has just been dominant in bonus points. He crushed the competition here in qualifying, 1.5 seconds faster than anybody here. He's the best at that.
He has picked up 2 additional bonus points already here at Road America. But Cameron Steele, Will Power still thinks he's got a great shot at the title.
He definitely thinks he does. He's one of the drivers that is fastest here, but just before they got in the car, Sebastian Bourdais got stung by a bee, and the joke going around the pits is that Will Power, Robert Dornbos, was carrying a bee in a glass jar. Of course, that can't be true. Well, maybe it could be, but you never know here in the racing world. But Will Power is second on the grid. He says he doesn't just need to win every battle, he needs to finish every battle to win the war. He's looking for the championship. Let's go down to Bill Stevens.
And right behind Sebastian Bourdais in the points and on the grid is that rookie Robert Dornbos. He comes in here with a little bit of an advantage from the other racetracks we visited this year. He tested here with Team Minardi USA back in June, so he has some familiarity with Road America. And 2 weeks ago, he had that most unlikely win in San Jose. So that team is coming in, peaking at the right time. Let's go to Michelle Beiser.
Well, Bruno Junqueira, who joined Dale Coyne Racing this season, has proven to be a dangerous force here at Road America. After he had an impressive qualifying, he's starting 5th today, but more importantly, Bruno has 2 victories here in Elkhart Lake. And when I talked to him about what it was that he loved about this track, he said the fast corners and how it challenges me. Another quick note, this is Dale Coyne's 500th career start. Back up to you.
It's been a long, great run for Dale Coyne Racing. This is a terrific racetrack, one of the greatest in the world. 4 miles, very fast. We talked to some Champ Car stars to get their impressions of what it's like to go racing here at Road America.
You're flat out down the pit straight. It's long climb uphill, cross start finish, and then you're trying to set up for turn 1. Very late braking. Always feel like you overslow the car in turn 1. But try and flow the speed through there, get on the power as early as possible.
It's a little bit downhill when you brake to turn 5, so it's very easy to lose the gear on the braking. You downshift from 7 to 2nd gear. That's the slowest-ish corner of the track at 65 miles per hour.
Carousel is definitely a place that'll separate the men from the boys. It's very physical, very hard on your neck. For us, it's a 6th gear flat-out corner. You have a little breather mid-corner. The goal is to have the right front in the grass, and by the time you get to the exit, it's definitely a good feeling.
Cannon corner is a pretty important corner. It's the last corner before you finish the lap qualifying, so you know, it's coming from a high speed. You have to brake late, so you gain your time on braking, but also get a good exit to finish your lap off.
So Will Power among the drivers, hoping to enjoy his afternoon here at the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of Road America, the Generac Grand Prix. 4 different onboard looks as usual. We'll ride with Graham Rahal, the Metazone 2 car. Will Power takes us for a ride in that Aussie Vineyards car number 5. We'll go with Justin Wilson in the CDW 9 machine today, starting deep in the field. Bruno Junqueira in the Sonny's Barbecue Dale Coyne entry told me yesterday morning car was horrible. Wait, did they make an improvement before qualifying?
Made a huge change before qualifying, said the car was fantastic, but the weather conditions have been changing throughout the weekend, so it's still a bit of a lottery.
The field, as has become the tradition in the Champ Car World Series, coming to a stop on the front straightaway for the standing start. Now, Jan, this may be the longest race mileage-wise we have all year. You're expecting maybe 4 stops.
Yes, but that last stop that you see, if we keep with the graphic for a moment, this one will go away if you have 5 laps of yellow. It'll turn into a 3-stop race. All green, you got to stop 4 times.
Well, Bourdais has been fast the last several years. This is one of those rare speedways where he has not yet picked up a victory in his now 5th Champ Car season. He's going for history, of course. It would be 4 straight Champ Car titles if he can close the deal this year before he heads to Formula One with Toro Rosso.
Field that just approaches their grid position. 15 seconds.
Field is lined up. The countdown is on. The lights will go out. You will see them go out. And then it will be everyone steaming toward that right-hand turn 1 at this 4-mile racetrack. Huge crowd on hand. Great day for racing. And it will be a terrific battle. Lights are coming on.
Got a fantastic start.
Turn 1, Bourdais is your leader. Dornbos moves to 2nd. Bruno to 3rd in front of Rahal. Power got shuffled out to 5th.
Will Power did not get off the line well. Bruno Junqueira just rocketed up from the middle.
Ryan Dial back there. Paul Tracy, haven't heard from him yet. Very disappointed with the race car. Side by side, Golmandy in the pay-by-touch car. Wilson in the 9, the Edge CDW HP car.
And here they are side by side. Golmandy just slices right by Justin Wilson. Tight, contact.
That is Simon Pagenaud up in the air. Tracy is around. Dial goes into the gravel. Someone's lost a wing. 3 cars off on the backside, and we go full course caution on lap number 1 at Road America. One of those brand new Mazda CX-9s. The Homatro safety team quickly there to help those drivers get pointed in the right direction. Now, Jan, before we came on the air, you and I talked about it. First, a look at what happened here.
3 wide at Simon Pagenaud coming up the inside. In fact, Ryan Dial saw him coming, but Ryan Dial went over. Paul Tracy was in the way, tried to give as much room as he could. Essentially, not enough room for 3 cars on the approach to turn 5.
That is the nose wing from the Generac 28 car, the silver car of Dial. Tracy with the visor up, needs some help. These drivers may not lose a lap. We'll take a quick timeout. Be right back at the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix at Road America. At Road America, Bill Stevens.
Down here with Team Australia, Rick, and Simon Pagenaud is just now leaving the pits. Couple of things. They had to replace the nose cone on the front of the car. But, Jan, this is something we talked about, tire strategy. None of these teams are really that thrilled with how the Reds have been performing. Simon Pagenaud switched immediately over to the blacks.
Many drivers deciding to start on Reds. Meantime, Paul Tracy comes to pit road. They did get the 3-car restarted, Cameron.
They definitely did, and Paul spent a little bit of time on the beach, which is where he doesn't want to be. You can see the team looking over the back of the car just to make sure everything's all right. You've talked about the long laps. Not a problem about losing a lap here, so they're taking their time and looking over, and more importantly, they're getting the red sidewall tires off, which they have not liked all weekend. They're having braking problems, and Paul's away.
And both Bill and Cameron bring up the point that the drivers, many of which have not been as happy with the red sidewall Bridgestones. Again, they are meant to be the higher performance Bridgestone Potenzas, but for some reason they haven't suited this racetrack this weekend, and therefore, as we see a replay of the start, and oh, look at that. We talked about Bruno Junqueira getting a great start. He may have moved early.
Well, he's been ruled to have jumped the start by Champ Car officials, and we're being told that he will serve a stop-and-go penalty when we go green, and there it is from Junqueira's onboard. Sonny's Barbecue 19. Bruno thought very much as though he had a car that was capable of getting to the front here today. He's won this race twice in the past. This, of course, is first year driving for Dale Coyne in that Sonny's Barbecue car.
It was a rocket of a start, but unfortunately, as they say in drag racing terms, that was a red light.
Now he's got plenty of time to make that up. A stop-and-go penalty when you've got a lap time of 1:45 doesn't necessarily kill you. You can catch back up under caution. Fuel strategy can put you in great shape. Mazda's in motion. Let's recap the final round of the Cooper Tires Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda. Frank Pereira in the white Condor Motorsports car on the pole would lead all the way. Rafael Matos there in the red and white 6 car. 6 victories on the season. He rolled to 2nd spot with a great move there. He dogged Pereira down the stretch, but Pereira goes wire to wire, wins his 3rd Champ Car Atlantic Championship round this season. Matos wins the big prize. He won it at San Jose, the $2 million prize that he will use to secure a Champ Car World Series ride come 2008. Pereira, though, happy with that victory. All right, before we restart here at Road America, Michelle.
Yes, Rafael Matos, congratulations on clinching the Atlantic Series Championship. Now with that $2 million prize that's being awarded to you towards a Champ Car ride, where are we going to expect to see you next year?
Well, I haven't signed anything yet. We've been talking to some teams, and hopefully we make the better decision and get a good ride to, next year. You know, it's just been a great season for us all year long, and just can't thank enough my team, Sierra again, this week, and did an amazing job. And ProWorks sponsoring the car, and everyone that has been supporting us, I can't thank enough. I'm just very glad for the team.
All right, congratulations. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Back up to the booth.
Great year for Rafael Matos, and Cooper Tires presents the Champ Car Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda. We are live at Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. A wild start to this one, under caution for a 3-car incident at turn 5 on lap 1. We'll be right back.
ESPN on ABC.
Back live, green flag in the air to begin lap number 3 of the Generac Champ Car Grand Prix at Road America. Sebastian Bourdais is the leader in the McDonald's machine. Car number 1, Robert Dornbos, off that upset win a couple of weeks ago at San Jose to second. There's Bruno Junqueira, third, Jan, but he won't get to stay there.
No, they do not let you have a drive-through penalty to serve your penalty under yellow. So Bruno Junqueira, although, like you said, he runs third, he's going to have a drive-through and put him right to the back of the order.
Simone Pagenaud on pit road. Several drivers have pitted now. That incident at turn 5, Dan Clark, Paul Tracy, Oriol Servia, Alex Figge, Ryan Dial, Simone Pagenaud twice now. They're topping up with fuel. Now, here comes Power down the inside. He wants to get by Graham Rahal.
You can see that he had a great run. He has nice position on Graham Rahal, puts him over on the rumble strips. That's about as good a pass as you can make at turn number 5. And it all was set up when he came off turn number 3.
Power's second season in Champ Car. A couple of wins this year. Won the opener at Vegas. Came back in the rain to win at Toronto back in July. And he is third in the championship hunt. Having trouble getting his teammates' car off pit road. Simone Pagenaud still there for Derek Walker's Aussie Vineyards team. There's Pagenaud, got by Graham Rahal in that light blue Metazone car. That's Junqueira in front of those two in the red and white Sonny's Barbecue 19. He's got 2 career victories here. But he will be penalized. He'll have to come to pit road and serve a stop-and-go penalty. Right now, trying to save track position.
I say that Graham Rahal is not giving up here, that this is a sort of a give-and-take sort of racetrack because it is so fast, almost 190 miles an hour on 3 places on the racetrack, that you have a slipstream, you have a draft. So there are opportunities to give and take. You may see drivers swap the lead or positions a couple times in a lap.
Junqueira stays on the racetrack in this situation. There's Dornbos in that black and red Ozjet car number 14. There's Junqueira in the 19, the white and red machine. Power right behind. Rahal there in the Metazone light blue car. Let's get on board Graham Rahal's car. 18 years of age.
Here he comes.
Back inside the repass. Power for 4th.
But now he's lost momentum. Oh, but he's got enough. He's pulling away just a little bit. So unless, he was going to the steering wheel, but I don't think that Will Power will go for the power to pass for the additional 50 horsepower yet. You have to save some of that for the end of the race.
They get extra time here this weekend.
They have 75 seconds. Jan Halen, new paint scheme and very aggressive, but it looks like he almost stalled it.
Halen in the graphic print 34 car for Eric Bachelard's Conquest team. He gets to go home in a couple of weeks when the series moves to Zolder, Belgium on August 26th. And they are excited about taking the Conquest team back home to Belgium. Beautiful new paint job on that car this weekend. And Halen being shown in 8th position. He and Neil Johnny there in the Red Bull car fighting for position.
And you saw Dan Clark just in the back of that. We thought for a moment there that Jan Halen was getting pressure from behind, but there was a move by Dan Clark, who's actually already been in the pits. So he is on a different pit strategy, along with quite a few other people towards the back that came on the pits during that first caution.
And we've had a caution already. You mentioned 5 yellow laps would make this a 3-stop race instead of a 4. We've got pressure from Oriol Servia back there a little further. Watching the 4 car of Clark.
And you guys on Dan Clark, I just want to report, he did come into the pits and go on an alternate strategy, but the team also reported that he was complaining of problems with the clutch, maybe setting on the starting grid too long, utilizing the clutch. It got hot. That's what they're speculating, and they think that they have it back under control now.
And Cameron, so if that clutch has cooled, the other thing we'll see as we watch Dan Clark, and there were 3 or 4 others to hit pit road, they put the black sidewall Bridgestones on, which in these track conditions should be faster. So that's why you see a guy like Dan Clark slicing through, because for some odd reason this weekend, the blacks seem faster than the red.
Junqueira still running in front of Graham Rahal. Now, we had gotten the indication from race control earlier that Junqueira was going to serve a penalty for that start. Looked like he got a great start. Don't know if he jumped it or not, but right now he's still on the racetrack. He has not been brought in as yet.
And he has been given a black flag. So if you receive a black flag 2 or 3 times and you do not pit, they just stop scoring you. So he's pushing the envelope. What he's doing is he wants to try and give his team as much time as possible to dispute it. But he definitely got a fantastic start. And unfortunately, I think that's one, especially since he carried an onboard camera, they've got lots of visual evidence.
Once you pleaded your case to the referee, or in this case, Tony Kottman, Champ Car officials on pit road, there's Billy Campos in there. That's about all you can do. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court. Alex Tagliani there in the LXN2 Walmart car number 8. That's one of the R Sports entries. Tag has his only career win. It came here in 2004. We're talking about fuel strategy. They cashed in on fuel strategy that very day. Meantime, pressure on, moving on the 9 car of Wilson, the CDW car.
Oh, and at the same time, Dan Clark got a position. So 2 people gained positions in Canada corner. Justin Wilson, wow, after such a nearly dominant weekend that he had in San Jose, at least setup-wise, they're struggling here.
So Wilson gives up 10th to Oral Serbia. Here comes Bruno Junqueira for the stop and go.
It's a 50-mile-per-hour speed limit. You don't want to stop and make a pit stop here. You want to lose as little track position as you can.
Jump in to start. Don't worry about it. Go get him. Go get him.
So Bruno Junqueira being told to go get him back toward turn 1. That's a look at Road America and Elkhart Lake from the onboard view, courtesy of Bruno Junqueira. If you'd like to take a lap on the edge here at Road America with Bruno, log on to the series website, which is www.champcar.ws. Out of turn 5, that's where we had that lap 1 tangle involving 3 cars. Paul Tracy, Ryan Dial, Simone Pagino, the 3 cars involved there. There's Tagliani in that Walmart LXN2 car number 8, the red and white machine. He's up to 5th now, putting pressure on Will Power.
Oh,
1 car off in the weeds.
Speedy Dan on the grass. And you'll see he has a different helmet color this weekend. He has always had that traditional red and white helmet. It's just that he's testing a new helmet for Bell this weekend. It has kind of the Darth Vader. It's kind of like a flat black kind of look. And that kind of suits Dan Clark's demeanor, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's got that carbon fiber. It's got some interesting veining on the helmet to help keep the helmet in place. The airflow over these cars is unbelievable at these speeds particularly. You've got to have a helmet that stays on your head. There is Jan Halen. New paint scheme on the Graphiprint 34 for the Conquest team. That green, white, silver, and black look is just a very, very attractive paint job. And Halen doing a nice job. Remember, he didn't start the season in the 34 car. Matt Halliday drove the first 3 races for the team. Halen joined before the 4th round of the championship. He jumped right back into the deep end of the pool, Michelle.
Eric Batchelor, team owner of Conquest Racing. It looks really good out there for Jan. Has this new paint job and this sponsor helped your team out?
Yes, we just got a new sponsors from Belgium, and just we're able to put a new paint job on the car, thanks to the sponsors, and basically looking forward to go to Belgium, Zolder, and this is going to be our home track for Jan and for myself. So pretty excited about it, and quite excited about this weekend as well. I mean, we had a pretty good qualifying, and we keep on progressing this season with Jan, and I think that hopefully for Zolder, we're going to be in very good shape.
All right, you've got some good momentum going. Back up to you.
Zolder race in 2 weeks. The Champ Car World Series with a 2-race European swing for the first time in some time. Zolder and then the Netherlands, Assen. The week later, Labor Day weekend. There is Halen in that green 34 car back up front meantime. Will Power 4th in the Aussie Vineyards car. Right behind him is Tagliani. We go back a little further. There's Justin Wilson in the CDW 9. Justin really struggling, Jan. You nailed it, I think, earlier as we get on board the 9 car, the other R Sports entry. So fast at San Jose until he had that contact with Dan Clark. Bad push there.
Well, it was a push and a loose, and that's been what Justin Wilson's been talking about all weekend, is that they have the front go away, then they have the rear go away. They'll fix one. They're having a bit of what they call the teeter-totter principle. They're having a hard time keeping the car balanced. But he is better on the blacks. Once he gets rid of these red sidewall Bridgestones, he'll be faster.
A quick reminder for you, grab your mobile device in a couple of moments. You can participate and vote at our Mazda Virtual Pit Stop. You will get to make the right call. Very interesting question up today for our Mazda Virtual Pit Stop. Justin Wilson's 51st career start. He has 3 career wins. His victory came more than a year ago.
And you guys, I just want to jump in there on Justin Wilson. I spoke to him just before he got in the car, and I asked him about the car. Had it come around? And he said, really, it hadn't. It was a problem with the car. The balance was an issue, and he's coming in. It looks like let's head over to Bill Stevens.
And here comes Justin Wilson. He is in. He's finally going to be able to get the red sidewall tires off and go to the preferred blacks. But this is a car that's been a Rubik's Cube all weekend. He cannot go fast in the corners. He's fighting the car, and hopefully the primary tires will help correct that.
And Bill, I love that analogy, Rubik's Cube, because you have so many things to change on a car. It's like a Rubik's Cube, and you never know what's going to come up in what spot. And it's a tricky business, this engineering and getting the car balanced. But he'll like these blacks a lot better.
Clean racetrack now for Wilson to go to work with, but the green flag stop cycles him very deep in the running order. Tagliani, meantime, and Will Power, they've swapped that position to move Alex Tagliani, who loves these big high-speed racetracks, especially here, move him up to 4th in the running order now behind Graham Rahal. Bourdais, Dornbos, and Rahal, the top 3.
But consider, Alex Tagliani is the teammate of Justin Wilson. So Justin Wilson can't hang on to the car and has to come in and change tires. At the same time, we're watching his teammate march through the field. It's amazing.
Is that a case of different drivers liking different things in these DP01 race cars?
I think it shows that these cars are so sensitive that you don't have to be very far off, because the setups on the 2 cars were in fact very close. Here comes Clark.
Working on Neil Johnny in the Red Bull Gulfstream PKV car. Clark a little loose off that corner as well. They're battling for 6th. Johnny in that blue and yellow car runs 6th. Clark is 7th. Directly in front of those 2 drivers, that's Power, who has cycled back to 5th, hitting the front straightaway here at Road America.
And Dan Clark, if we stay here, I think he's got good drive off the final corner. So he has an opportunity to catch a slipstream here. He needs to be just a little bit closer. Maybe if he goes for the power to pass, he can get him in turn 1.
Battling for position further back, meantime, Serbia and Halen. And Serbia swoops by Jan Halen in the Forsyth Index 7 car. So Oriol Serbia moves to 8th now. Clark trying to get around Neil Johnny. Johnny in that blue Red Bull machine with iRise on the rear wing.
And this is deja vu for Johnny, because he led the race in San Jose. He was on the reds. Everyone else was on the black sidewall Bridgestones. He's got him set up.
Clark to the inside of 5.
Perfect. Nicely done.
Dan Clark picks up a position, move him to 6th in the running order. The lead is a 2nd for Sebastian Bourdais. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix live in Road America after these messages and a word from our local ABC station.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
We are back live at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, with a battle for the lead taking shape. Sebastian Bourdais off the pole, the championship leader in that red McDonald's car. Bobby D, Robert Dornbos in the car number 14, chasing him, giving him a really tough tussle.
And Sebastian had just received a radio transmission, get a 48. Now that's part of their code, and they're coaching him on fuel economy. So all of a sudden, when you have a battle for the lead, in the meantime, let's get down pit side to Cameron Steele.
Neil Johnny is in and away. They took the red sidewall tire. Oh, and a battle! Going out of the pits, almost contact there. One thing I can say about Neil Johnny's car, speaking to Mark Johnson, the general manager, they struggle with grip later in the afternoons here when everything gets warmed up and going. So we'll see how that plays out for him. We'll head it back upstairs.
And Cameron, the point I was making there briefly is that I believe that Sebastian just got a call from the pits to back off and save some fuel. That's why all of a sudden now Dornbos is all over him.
We are live at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 10th race of the Champ Car World Series 2007 season. The Champ Car Generac Grand Prix with Jan Bikas, Rick Benjamin, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beiser on pit road for us. And a great chase for the lead here. The top 2 drivers in the championship standings. Bourdais, the 3-time and defending champ. Right behind him, the challenger, the rookie in the series, Robert Dornbos, in the Ozjet car number 14. Dornbos just a couple of car lengths behind as they hit the final corner. Before the start today, we talked to Robert Dornbos about what it means for a driver from Europe to come to a great racetrack like Road America.
For sure, you feel more at home if it's a high-speed circuit like this, because that's the ones we race on in Europe. And this is an amazing place. I have to say, it's really challenging for a driver to go to the limit, and you need to be committed. And I feel quite confident.
The thoughts of Robert Dornbos on coming to this beautiful 4-mile circuit. Second spot right now on the red tires, Cameron.
Well, I was talking to Robert Dornbos' engineer, Michael Cannon. You remember he won here last year with A.J. Allmendinger. And I asked him about the speed of Sebastian Bourdais, and he said it's definitely a concern how much faster Sebastian was. But you remember last year Sebastian was also really fast. And at the end of the day, the race came to them, and they say, hey, it's not unlikely that could happen again.
Battling for position further back. Tagliani in the Walmart LXN2 car. The 8 trying to hold off Dan Clark. Clark got alongside Tagliani for a moment. Tag able to beat back that challenge.
And some of the other radio transmissions are that Sebastian Bourdais will most likely have to stop in 2 laps, whereas Robert Dornbos is going to have to stop in 1. So when all of a sudden you see Sebastian Bourdais somewhat back up, if he gets an extra lap out on the racetrack at speed, that is a huge benefit in this racetrack for certain.
Especially here, 4 miles around. If this is one of those places, if you run out of fuel here, you're sunk.
Especially since it's uphill to pit road. There's no coasting into the pits.
Lap 13, time clock up at the top of your screen as well. Live at Road America. Clark again taking a look alongside Tagliani. Dan Clark to the inside makes the pass. So Clark moves up a spot to 4th now. And if you want more Champ Car race action like that, subscribe to Race Director. Go to the series website, champcar.ws. 6 different camera angles, team radios, live telemetry, and more, all on your home computer at champcar.ws. And here comes Tagliani. He'll peel off after getting past. He'll come to pit road, make his first stop of the day.
Put it on the mark.
It may seem obvious when they say put it on the marks, but like, what else am I going to do?
Hold the wheel, set your fuel.
The reason they're talked through every step is if you stop right on the marks, and wow, did they add a lot of front wing.
Go, go, go. All right, give me a good outlap here. Give me a good outlap.
The reason they add so much front wing is because he went from red to blacks. There's a different balance on how the Bridgestones work. So when you go to the blacks, you add a lot more front wing. Each couple turns of front wing gives you 14 more pounds of downforce.
On board third place car of Graham Rahal, the Meta Zone 2, one of the 2 Newman Haas Lanigan entries in the field. Rahal will become the team leader here in 2008 with Sebastian Bourdais' decision to move to Formula One in Toro Rosso. Rahal, meantime, hoping for victory in his freshman season in the Champ Car World Series.
Now I'm looking down pit road, and I believe that I see they're set up for Sebastian and Robert Dornbos. So maybe Sebastian, you know how he backed up and then all of a sudden decided he didn't want a challenge from Dornbos? I believe that they have decided to abort, and they're both coming in on the same lap.
Now we've heard some radio traffic, Jan, that indicates that Newman Haas has decided that they've lost that lap advantage they thought Bourdais would have on the fuel economy, and they're going to have to bring him in at the same time they bring in Dornbos.
And the reason was they told him to back up, but then Sebastian says, no way am I going to let Dornbos go by me. And this makes it a straight fight now because they're going to hit the pits on the same lap.
And I can tell you, definitely going to be chaos down here.
Hustle.
4 cars all coming in right together is the way it looks like it's planned. You guys are down here in the pit. Looks like Dornbos, Rahal, and Bourdais, as well as Gomedy just beyond Bourdais. So 4 cars will be coming in all together. Sebastian, of course, leading them in. They're going to take the reds off and go to the black sidewalls. Watch for the adjustment in the front wing. They're talking about a half a turn. And I did confirm with the team that they were working on trying to save fuel, but didn't get the lap that they wanted. Back up to you guys.
Wait a minute, go.
They went the other way on the front wing. So the order stays the same, but very interesting. For Tagliani, they added a lot of front wing, but for Sebastian Bourdais, they took it out.
Of the graphic print team, the Conquest Bunch for Jan Halen from Belgium, that new green and silver and white paint scheme. Halen makes his stop. Gets Bridgestone regular tires. Gomedy of the Pay by Touch 22, one of the PKV cars. He bolts on the Bridgestone blacks. He and Halen side by side off pit road. That was a close call. There you get a look at Rahal now trying to track down Dornbos for second. Now this should cycle Dan Clark into the lead. Clark, one of the drivers who started early, or stopped rather early. A lot of drivers have made their first stop of the day on that alternate strategy, and there is Clark. Speedy Dan Clark in the Ticketmaster car number 4. He has had a difficult sophomore season, to say the least. Had that contact with Justin Wilson a couple of weeks ago in San Jose as they were coming to a restart, which ended his day as well as Wilson's for all intents and purposes. One of many such incidents for Clark this season. But the Ticketmaster car right now looking pretty strong in the early stages. Let's get an update from pit road. Michelle Beiser.
Al Spire, Executive Director of Bridgestone Motorsports. I've got a question for you. It's very clear that these reds are affecting this race right now. What are your impressions of it?
Well, certainly the performance of the Reds is different than what we thought it would be here. I've been sold by several of the owners. They think the suspension on the new car is a little bit different. So our Bridgestone engineers will go work on that, and we're always out here trying to improve things. But I think we also have to remember that one of the objectives of the red tires was to perform differently, and we've seen some extra passing out here today, and it wasn't necessarily done for the driver's convenience. It was done to make a better race for the fans.
And what I think he's talking about, Michelle, that's a great point. The reason why they have the red sidewall Bridgestones is they want to mix it up out there. So the reds don't have to be faster, they just have to be different.
One of those things that Champ Car has put in the mix, along with the Cosworth power to pass, the extra 50 horsepower. 75 seconds of time on such a long track. 18 seconds, the long burst. That's the time it takes you to get up the straightaway. There's the Ozjet car, Robert Dornbos. Dornbos at the moment shown back in 7th. Next week, Little League action returns to ABC as the tradition continues in Williamsport. The Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Pool play, round coverage comes to ABC Saturday at 3 Eastern, Sunday 3:30 Eastern next week. More information at ESPN.com. Graham Rahal right there behind Dornbos. He is 7th. Dornbos is. Rahal is 8th. We'll see if they can move back toward the top of the leaderboard when we continue live at the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix at Road America. Welcome you back live to the Generac Champ Car Grand Prix of Road America. I'm Rick Benjamin. One car off. We've got cars off in the dirt back there. Everybody seems to be okay. Oriol Serbia steaming down the straightaway. Graham Rahal running 3rd. He's got Dan Clark behind him as they battle at turn 5. So, what goes on behind the scenes in NASCAR? This is what you don't get to see. Well, Wednesday night at 10, 9 Central on ABC. See inside the real life of NASCAR's top drivers as never before. Cameras rolling around the clock, catching everything that happens. You think it gets hot on the racetrack? Wait until you see NASCAR in prime time. Wednesday night at 10, 9 Central on ABC. Now, after the round of pit stops, Sebastian Bourdais has cycled back to the lead. His advantage over Robert Dornbos, 2.4 seconds. There's the 3rd place car, the Metazone machine of Rahal. Clark stays 4th, and Serbia now, he really cashed in, Jan, on the pit stop exchange. Serbia has climbed to 5th after having trouble during qualifying, started 14th today. That's the drive of the day so far.
Definitely. There's some pit strategy mixed in there as well. The sooner that you can get those red sidewall Bridgestones off, we certainly have found that was the key early on.
Now, just a few moments ago, have a look at this.
Graham Rahal leaves the pits. I should say ahead of him, Dan Clark had just left the pits because he could stop later. He has a huge run here, does Graham Rahal, pulls alongside, and he's got the pass done. But listen. Right there, he knew that Dan Clark, because he had a car ahead of him, was going to go in and try to make a move of himself. Graham Rahal, at 18 years old, decides that discretion is the better part of valor. He waits for 3 or 4 more corners, gets by Dan Clark, but that right there was a veteran move. If he would have forced that, that would have been a big wreck.
That was just moments ago. Take a look up front now. Bourdais continues to lead. There is Rahal in the Metazone car. And navy blue and white car number 2. And there's your leader in the McDonald's number 1, the 3-time defending series champion, Sebastian Bourdais. He's the championship leader now. As we told you at the top of the broadcast, that lead built mainly on the strength of bonus points. On that strategy Newman Haas-Lanigan uses, telling him, go for it during qualifying.
He has that ability to just get those last few tenths of a second, or at least here, he had the ability to get over a second out of the car that no one else seems to be able to find. And they tell him, does Newman Haas-Lanigan, yes, go for it for bonus points, but when it comes to the race, we be conservative.
Under the bridge, Bourdais' lead, 2.2 seconds. Second spot belongs to Dornbos with a couple of wins in his rookie season.
It's worth pointing out that for Sebastian Bourdais, as we check the interval back to each of these runners, is that Sebastian has been so dominant this weekend. on the black sidewall Bridgestone. So if you were going to go after him, you really needed to do it during the first stint when he had the reds on.
The Ozjet 14, one of the Minardi Team USA entries. In second. There's his teammate, Dan Clark. Now, Clark has run a very nice race also. A near incident with Rahal we showed you a moment ago. The Fortune telemetry on Graham Rahal's car. Take a look at the speed at the end of this very long front straightaway.
186, and that's actually as fast as it was in qualifying. In qualifying, there was a headwind, so they were about 190 into turn number 5, but 185 on the front straightaway. But this is a racetrack where you haul the mail.
Clark from 8th to 4th now, working on lap number 20 here this afternoon. Less than an hour of racing to go, Bill.
Spoke to Dan Clark early this morning, was in a tremendous state of mind. You'll remember 2 weeks ago in San Jose when he went out after a great qualifying performance early in the race, did not even want to talk to anybody and stormed off. This weekend, the worm has turned. He's in a good frame of mind, and the performance on the track has also been impressive. Had a very good job in qualifying.
Yeah, in your experience as a driver in this series, isn't it true that a place like San Jose, where it's so intense, it's so tight, temperatures and tempers kind of boil over at times?
They can boil over any place, but there's no question. When you're in, we called it a little bull ring when we were in San Jose. This is much different. And in San Jose, when we watched Graham Rahal, we went on board and saw that he decided discretion was the better part of valor. On a street circuit, you would just plow in there. But when you're going 180 miles an hour, you don't take those kind of risks. Sure. And that gets everybody to settle down and think about where they want to put their car. And it's made for some great racing.
Oriol Serbia, meantime, we talked about the drive of the day thus far. Serbia from 14th to 5th right there. And the Forsythe Index car certainly would be a candidate for that. And there is car number 8, 2004 winner here, Alex Tagliani, in the Walmart LXN2 machine. Tag after the pit stop round, showing in 6th position for the R Sports team. Time now for our Mazda virtual pit stop, where you try to make the right call. Our question today, which of these 3 drivers has the best strategist on top of the pit box? Use your mobile phone or your mobile device. Text A for Board A, B for Robert Dornbos, C for Neil Johnny. 55333 is the text number. Each vote costs you 50 cents, and we'll have the results of the Mazda virtual pit stop for you a little later in our broadcast. Bill Stevens.
Here comes Justin Wilson, and he's currently running in 8th spot. They're going to put another set of primary tires on this car, and they are still trying to find the magic key to get this car to perform up to par. Justin's still not completely happy with it.
And Bill, why you did that report, we had this great shot of the left front of the car where they stayed and made a huge adjustment on the front wing, as much as we have seen all day. Just cranked and cranked and cranked to add front wing into that car, which means the car's not turning. It puts more downforce on the front, and that car must be way off.
Absolutely right, Jan. I just spoke to Phil Howard, and he said that they're going to try whatever they can to try to get that car to handle better for Justin. They feel they have the power. They feel, other than that, this is a car that can contend today.
There we go, that CDW Plantronics camera left front corner of the car, Jan. What a great shot.
Yes, and here's the adjuster right there where you will change the front wing. And that was just a fantastic look at how much, and what it does, if we can stay here just for a moment, it changes the height of that flap. That's the front wing flap that changes when you crank it up and essentially just forces the front wheel down in the ground.
Wilson with the green flag stop, his second of the day, shown 8th, but he gave up a lot of track position by coming onto pit road under green here on lap 21.
One thing you can see from this shot as well, keep an eye on the sidewall deflection of the tire, especially when you go through this carousel. 4.5 G's, one of the highest G-force corners you're going to find on a road course anywhere.
Now, it has been very warm here the last several days. Yesterday was a scorcher, not quite as warm today, but we've seen this from Justin Wilson before. We'll get a look at it here in a couple of moments. He's got a little tube, a little snorkel kind of in the cockpit to funnel some extra air in toward himself here today, too. So Wilson trying his best to stay sharp in these conditions here at Road America. Lots of pressure on the driver. There's a little tube there by his left hand.
That's the air entry. As you said, it's not aerodynamically perfect, but if your driver overheats, aerodynamics don't make any difference. So you need to be sure your driver stays cool, especially when making decisions. We saw 186 for Rahal. Let's see what we have here for Justin. 184, so a couple miles an hour makes a big difference.
And Plantronics telemetry really gives you an idea of just the forces that are in play here with the 750 horsepower Turbo Cosworth motors in these DPO1 Champ Car World Series machines. Let's check back in there in the graphic print Conquest 34 car. Halen back to 9th. Tristan Gomendy in the pay-by-touch 22, the PKV machine. He is in 10th position right now, one of the first-year drivers in the series. Good nose-to-tail battle here. Hey, the Champ Car World Series is available for you now. Plenty of content courtesy of the new Apple iPhone. Special website showcasing the latest Champ Car World Series videos, previews, recaps, driver interviews, video capsules of the latest events, and more. If you own an iPhone, go to www.ccws2.com/i. We'll update the site regularly with the best from the Champ Car World Series. Watch on the go on your Apple iPhone.
Remember that Tristan Gomendy, as we call him there at pay-by-touch blue and white, chasing down Jan Halen, had a big crash here. We've talked about his injuries throughout the year. When he came to test, he had a crash just before the carousel, which is that corner that was the 4.5G corner. He just essentially wrote the car off. They had to send the chassis back to be repaired, and he really hasn't been the same since, at least physically.
He was so wrung out by the hot day at San Jose, they had to lift him out of the race car at the end of the day. But a good battle here for position, still for 10th. Another driver who's been hurting is with Michelle.
Ryan Dale, you are out of the race early. You've got to be disappointed. What happened out there?
I mean, honestly, it's things were going really well all weekend. It's kind of lucky just to be back here, but I think Pagenaud got a little overexcited at the start, and that caused our first problem. And I think what we think happened is maybe got a rock in the fuel pump and ended up shutting our fuel pump off. But actually, I think we're the fastest car on the track when we pitted. So, I mean, things are looking good. We got back up to the back and we're on blacks. And I think once it cycled through, it would have been probably running in the top 6. And just unfortunate Pacific Coast, it's can't thank him enough for kind of sneaking by me and getting me back here this weekend. So it's bittersweet good to be back, and I'm not bleeding too bad.
All right, you're 15 days out of surgery. We know that we'll see you very soon. Back up to you.
And, of course, that surgery for a broken collarbone in a mountain biking accident. Not a high-speed one, just basically took a fall the wrong way. He has 11 stainless steel pins as well as a plate holding that together, and said this was one of the best racetracks if you ever wanted to come back, because predominantly right-hand corners, and that took the pressure off, but unfortunately he didn't get to test it for the full distance today.
Yeah, Ryan Dale unfortunately ran just 15 laps here today in that Generac car number 28, the silver Pacific Coast Motorsports entry. His teammate Alex Figge still in the hunt. Figge, in fact, up in 11th right now. Very good day for young Alex Figge in his rookie Champ Car season as this battle rages. Meantime, battle heating up for second. Graham Rahal putting a lot of pressure on Robert Dornbos.
Well, now we're starting to see why you want to have a fast teammate. Sebastian Bourdais is doing everything that he can to get the most number of points. What's the next best thing? If your teammate can take points away from the competition. And he is just coming in, as well as Dan Clark. They're both closing in on Dornbos. Oh, here he comes.
Down the hill toward 5. Rahal wants second. And he's got it. Rahal puts the Metazone 2 car up into second, getting by Bobby D.
Bobby D has got some trouble. Look how quick his teammate, and you could see him sawing at the wheel in turn number 5. So certainly Graham Rahal has picked up the pace, but something appears as though it may be amiss with Robert Dornbos.
Looks like Dornbos may have a tire going down. Looks as though that car's kind of crabbing. Maybe he's got something broken in the rear end. Dan Clark sniffing some blood in the water here. Clark's the kind of driver who would not necessarily protect his teammate. He'd love to get by Dornbos, no question.
Yes. But all the drivers know that we are in the season of the championship. In fact, they were told by the race director, Tony Kottman, if you're not involved in the championship, don't get involved in the championship. In other words, be very cautious when you're running guys with people in the championship and don't do anything silly. So we'll see if Dan Clark heeds that warning.
Well, Dornbos staying on the gas in the Ozjed car, the 14. He's still in third. Rahal got by, though, and has added to the lead as they hit the front straightaway. The championship battle in Champ Car, one of the best we've seen in years, and it moves across the Atlantic in 2 weeks. Champ Car will begin its 2-race European swing. The Champ Car World Series continues on ESPN Classic. Our coverage Sunday, August 26th at 8 a.m. Eastern. Live coverage of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Belgium. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Now, one of the things we bring you in our coverage is contact with the head referee. This is Race Control for the Champ Car World Series, where Tony Kottman watches the action on a variety of monitors, keeps his eye on what's going on.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
The winner of the last race of the Champ Car World Series, Robert Dornbos, has been involved in an on-track incident with his teammate Dan Clark. He's pitted the Minardi car.
Hey guys, I'm down here in the pit and you can see frustration in Robert Dornbos' face, ripping his tear-offs off his helmet and throwing him to the side and working on getting the nose cone replaced. And it looks like they took a look at a couple other items on the car. No other damage, it doesn't seem like, but it's taking some time to get this done, and unfortunately a frustrating moment for Dornbos.
Well, Dornbos had been running second. We thought something might be wrong with the car, Jan, because he was obviously slowing down. Rahal got by him and moved out to a big advantage. Then they had that contact with Clark, and we'll show that to you in a moment. The other of the drivers involved in the chase for the championship here, Will Power, the Aussie Vineyards 5 car, twice a winner this year, had that DNF at Edmonton, which really damaged his chances. And now they've got the engine cover off the Aussie Vineyards 5. Bill Stevens.
Lots of trouble down here, guys. First of all, there's a problem with the front wing. They were actually back in the paddock building another front unit for that car. Now, as you can see, the engine cover is off. It just has been a nonstop parade of problems the last couple of laps for this particular automobile, and it's not sure whether they're going to be able to get him in anytime soon.
Well, isn't that amazing? We've got Will Power, Robert Dornbos. I mean, these are the players in the championship.
ECU if you want.
They're talking about ECU, that's engine control unit, so that would lead you to believe it's an engine-related issue.
Now, Dornbos in the 14, the Ozjet Bjorman's car. Let's show you what happened here. He's next to his teammate. That's Clark with a black helmet.
Dan Clark just passed him. Wow! Dan Clark passed him, got on the brakes, and Dornbos couldn't stop because he was right behind him. He lost the air over the front wings, and then he was called from the pits. They told him, drive over the curbs to get rid of. That was actually by design. They told him, drive off the track, go across the curbs and get rid of that front wing. But see, right here, he's lost. He can't slow it down at that point because when he was behind, there is always a wash behind the car. You lose the front downforce. And we talked about what would happen between the two teammates, and here it took the championship contender and knocked him out for now.
As we watch the car of Robert Dornbos. Dornbos at the moment, after all that, 14th position. Now remember, at San Jose, he was involved in that lap 1 incident with Jan Halen. Got up on the back end of Halen's car, took the front wing off the Ozjet car there, was able to come from the back and win. But a much different scenario here at this big, fast, high-speed Road America circuit. Live coverage of the Champ Car World Series, ESPN on ABC at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Your leader is Sebastian Bourdais by 6.5 seconds over his teammate, Graham Rahal. Rahal on pit road.
You can hear John Tzanikis calling him in, and one thing John has been telling Graham.
Neutral, we need neutral. You have it. Okay, watch Timmy. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
And that's John Tzanikis giving him instructions as he's leaving the pit there. We have been hearing that they want him to go hard, but he has been using his push to pass, and they're telling him not to use it anymore. Run hard, but don't use your push to pass. That's what they've been telling him.
And Cameron, when you hear them say, make sure it's a neutral, we watch the same thing for Bruno Junqueira, is that twice there has been a problem with Graham Rahal stalling in the pits by getting a false neutral. If you don't have it in neutral, you can't get it in first gear properly and able to launch.
Team 500th career Champ Car start for Dale Coyne Racing this weekend. Battle off pit road. That's Gomendy alongside Halen. They're side by side heading toward one, and Gomendy gets the drop on Halen. So Gomendy in the pay-by-touch car. Go Gomendy with a nice move off pit road. Meantime, Bruno Junqueira, who started 5th, was 8th when he came to pit road in the Sonny's barbecue car. Less than an hour, in fact, less than 45 minutes of racing to go. The Champ Car World Series, the Generac Grand Prix at Road America with Jan Vikas. I'm Rick Benjamin, 10th race of 2007. Great championship fight underway and a battle for position here. These two drivers being shown in 6th and 7th position as they came to pit road. Gomendy takes the spot away from Halen. On pit road for us, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner at Road America. Sebastian Bourdais making his stop now with 44 minutes of racing to go. Bourdais in the McDonald's machine gives up an 8-second lead, Cameron.
And he does. He's coming in. They're going to be putting on scuffed primary tires, it looks like. The one thing they have been doing is giving him fuel numbers. And that's Kenny Stewick giving him the information. They've been talking in code on fuel numbers. Some of the teams using the real numbers that they're looking for, say a 1.75, which could get you as many as 14 laps. Here they've been talking in code, so they're trying to keep us here in the television world and everybody racing against them guessing just a little bit.
Now all of this cycles Dan Clark back to the lead. 43 minutes of racing to go. We've had a couple of full course yellows. We avoided one there. And Clark in the Ticketmaster car takes back over car number 4. Bourdais with that green flag stop. Now, the job for Clark is to go as fast as he can, try to add to that advantage over Bourdais.
Yes, when you're on your own in clean air, that's when you try and build a gap.
Paul Tracy is into the pits. A set of new sticker. Bridgestone Potenzas. They're putting fuel in the car. Watch. They put a lot of fuel in the car all the way up to the top, and he gets away, but he has got a long way to go to get back near the front.
Now the 3 car, Tracy was 8th when he came to pit road. And Jan, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast, this one will turn on who gets to stop at the right time and who gets to run to the end and not have to come back to pit road. Can you do it in 3 or do you need 4 stops? That's really the turning point in a race like this.
It can come to a splash and go at the end. Go, Mindy. Tristan is still holding off Jan Halen. That shows how important these pit crews are, because Tristan had been behind Jan, battling for lap after lap, and then he all left it in the hands of his pit crew, and they got Tristan out quick.
And how about Alex Figge there in the black car? That's the Generac machine, the 29 car, the rookie driver. He is 5th right now. A lot of that has to do with the pit stop sequence. But Figge doing a very, very nice job. Well, Dan Clark gives up the lead, brings the Ticketmaster car to pit road, the 4 car. Bridgestone Black's going on.
He hasn't given it up yet, but he will right about now. Sebastian Bourdais just went by, pit out.
It was almost an 8-second lead for Bourdais when this round of pit stop started.
Here comes Rahal, though, so this will make a difference in where he slots in. So at the moment, Dan Clark will slot back in 3rd.
So Rahal retakes 2nd on the pit stop exchange, and Clark has to start from 3rd now as we work on lap 30. 41 minutes of racing to go. That's time for probably 20, 25 laps of action here at Road America. If you want more Champ Car race action, be sure to subscribe to Race Director. The series website is champcar.ws. You can choose from 6 different camera angles, live team radio, live telemetry, and much more, all on your home computer. Our website is champcar.ws. Bourdais, 4 wins on the season, and the championship lead coming in here, 12 points over Robert Dornbos. Well, now Dornbos has had troubles. And Jan, our Mazda virtual pit stop question today, who has the best strategist? Well, most everyone would have agreed, I think, at the start of the season, and you certainly have to give a call to Craig Hampson, who makes the calls for Sebastian Bourdais and the entire Newman Haas Lanigan team for that 1 car. But I'm impressed with the call Michael Cannon made to send Dornbos up over the curbing to knock that front wing off. Boy, talk about thinking on your feet.
Well, when you've been in this business a long time, you immediately think, okay, I'm in trouble. How do I fix it? And they come up with pretty creative ways. Catherine Legg, that's a different paint scheme for that Dale Coyne machine this year. They painted that car to be more like her helmet.
Battling for position a little further back. Alex Tagliani, Justin Wilson now cycling up to 6th in the CDW 9 car. These 2 teammates, the R Sports bunch, put together at the start of this season. By Dan Pettit, Paul Gentilozzi, the 2 respective team owners, they decided to combine efforts, combine engineering staffs, combine expertise, and now they're 2 drivers nose to tail. And Tagliani has appeared to have the upper hand, but they've made the 9 car better, it appears, after the last round of stops.
We saw how much wing they put in the front of Justin Wilson's car, and the fact that he is always, not always, but this weekend, has preferred the black sidewall. So now they've kind of evened it up. They're on the tires that they like. They're kind of, in some way, having a test day for Justin Wilson, and they're improving his car. And Alex now is struggling after, well, not quite as quick as he was early on, where he was really on the button.
Well, the CDW team, they really can't afford many more test days. That's what San Jose became for them as well a couple of weeks ago. Wilson on the button, though, shown 6th right now. Hey, Tuesdays this fall, get ready for a show about 3 guys who are trying to reinvent the wheel because they already invented it. Cavemen, the new comedy about to make prehistory. It's Tuesdays this fall on ABC, starting. Working lap 31, less than 40 minutes of racing to go. Justin Wilson, the CDW HP Edge machine, on the gas, running 6th behind Alex Tagliani. Back in a moment with more from the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix at Road America after these messages and a word from our local ABC station. This ESPN on ABC presentation of the Champ Car World Series, the Generac Grand Prix at Road America, brought to you by CDW, the right technology right away. And Generac Power Systems, manufacturer of residential, commercial, and industrial standby generators. Sebastian Bourdais is leading, hoping for his 5th victory of 2007. Trying to notch his 4th consecutive Champ Car World Series title in that McDonald's #1 for the Newman Haas Lanigan team. Bourdais announcing a couple of days ago what had been talked about for some time. He is going to try his luck in Formula One with the Toro Rosso team come 2008. Cosworth power to pass, Jan. Extra 50 horsepower, 75 seconds worth here.
You get some extra to use here because each time that you hit that button and get your extra 50 horsepower, which is done, by the way, adding some boost to the turbocharger as well as 300 RPM, you get 18 seconds at a pop. So if you only had the usual 60 seconds, you'd burn it pretty quickly. So they give you 75 seconds for this weekend. And if people have it at the end of the race and we have a close battle, this is one racetrack. When you're on power to pass, you can really see the difference.
Well, interestingly, as we check our timing and scoring monitors, we see that Bourdais hasn't even hit the button yet. He's still got 75 seconds in the bank. Graham Rahal's used up 36 seconds. He's hit it twice for 18 seconds each shot. So Rahal 6.5 seconds behind the race leader, but a very good day for the driver of the MetaZone car #2. The Muirman's machine, Dan Clark, car #4, running in 3rd right now, the Ticketmaster car, and 4th belongs to Oriol Servia. Servia's come from 14. Let's get an update, Michelle.
Keith Wiggins, team owner of Minardi. We saw the incident. What happened with your teammates? What's your response to that, and how well Dan Clark is doing right now?
Well, obviously both cars are doing pretty well. We had a coming together between the two team members, which is obviously not very acceptable. So I think that's at this stage all we can say until we have a good analysis of what went on and have a discussion with both of them.
And what will you say?
Depends on what they say.
All right, thanks a lot. Back up to you.
Hey, Michelle, before he gets back to business there, maybe you can just give us an update later when you get a chance. I'd love to know why Robert was in trouble, because there was no question that something seemed amiss with Robert, which is why Dan Clark caught him in the first place. So see if you can find that out for us.
Watching the 4 car, the Ticketmaster machine of Clark up to 3rd. Qualified 8th quick. And has moved up nicely here with 33 minutes of racing to go. And here's Oriol Servia, the Forsyth Indycar car #7, 14th on the grid. The Forsyth Indycar feeling lots of frustration. Everyone in that team, both cars, Paul Tracy and Servia, pretty darn unhappy. They've got some new engineering help on board this weekend in the person of Morris Nunn, who's been around a long time, lots of success in the Champ Car World Series. He's on board as a consultant to help that team with their engineering, and at least for Servia, it does seem to be working. Hey, a reminder, you can join Champ Car and its sponsors, support the Hole in the Wall Camp Lap Leaders program by making a donation for every lap led by your favorite driver. Log on to the series website, champcar.ws. Today, Sebastian Bourdais has been the dominant player. He's led 31 over 34 laps so far. Dan Clark's been out front for a couple of laps. Make it 32 now for Sebastian Bourdais at the head of the class. So if you back Bourdais today, he'd be a big winner. But the Hole in the Wall Camp's one of the official charitable causes of the Champ Car World Series. Certainly the big winners here at Road America. Here comes Servia, starting to put some pressure now on Speedy Dan for 3rd spot now.
And you make a very good point about the turnaround, at least it appears this weekend for Forsyth and Oriol Servia. I think it would be fair to say that if you asked anyone on that team on Friday how things were going, it was in full disarray, that they were seeking, they had made shifts with some of the mechanics, with engineering, and they were really searching for something. And maybe now in the race, finally for Servia, they've come up with something.
Roger Kara, meantime, qualified 5th. Had that penalty, got a great start, we thought, but Champ Car officials ruled he jumped the start. It's a standing start now, of course. Sonny's Barbecue 19. John Kara, after pitting last on lap 27, he's got 63 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time left in the bank. He's 11th, 2-time winner here. They're trying to work his way up. 10th is Wilson. Now this is a great view, Jan. That's left side of the steering wheel where he would downshift with that pedal shift.
Just a couple fingers, click, click, just one gear there over the top in turn number 6. But he'll come down a couple of gears after he goes down, hurry downs as it's called, because you slow all the way down to 75 miles an hour. 3 downshifts, just again, you have to kind of psych yourself up to do it in a light single-fingered approach. Remember, you're out there driving, pulling 4.5 Gs, trying to wrestle the car around, but yet you have to try and remind yourself that by jamming the thing, it doesn't make you go any faster.
Like they teach you on the golf course, it's like squeezing a tube of toothpaste, not like grabbing a crowbar.
And he'll come down a lot of gears here. 1, 2, 3, just that easy. Much, much better than just having to work your way through a manual gear shift lever. And that was hard. When you used to use the manual lever, you get big old blisters on your hands and everything because it was so hard to stop yourself from just going, because you're in a hurry, but you have to force yourself again. Loosen up the grip.
Up the front straightaway. Justin Wilson trailing Alex Figge. Now, Figge had been up in 6th earlier. He cycled back to 9th. We've had green flag stops. Here's Wilson. Good, bold move to the inside, heading toward 1. Wilson gets around Figge, so put him in a 9. The CDW team picking up. They're picking up the pace now.
Yes, and I was going to say, I believe when we went to break last time, he was obviously running with his teammate Tagliani. They were 5th and 6th, but while we were away, he came onto pit road and made a pit stop. So that's why Wilson now has just worked his way into 9th spot, was back in 10th.
And here comes Bruno Junqueira about to make a move on Alex Figge as well. So Bruno wants to get 10th, and he does. Good move for Bruno. Meantime, Will Power, 2 times a winner this year. 3rd in the championship coming in, but another DNF. Let's get more from downstairs.
Incredibly tough day for Will Power, and we talked about him before the race. And Will, you'd been saying, I have to finish every race to be a part of this war. This is just a tough break.
Yeah, another mechanical failure. What can I say? You always seem to not finish on a race where everyone finishes, so we lose maximum points. So I tell you, it makes it very tough from here to ever catch Sebastian. So, we'll keep soldiering on. It's just a new car, and you keep finding things out. Unfortunately, we're finding out at the wrong time, which is in a race. So, yeah, disappointing.
What happened to the car, Will?
It just jammed into gear. Just got stuck in 4th. Don't know what it is yet.
All right, tough day for Will Power. And he'll send it back upstairs.
Now the Aussie Vineyards car and team. Will Power 3rd in the title fight. 2 wins this year. 4th at San Jose. But the previous race at Edmonton, he had also had a DNF with mechanical issues. Meantime, Oriol Servia still applying lots of heat on Dan Clark. He'd love to get, Servia would, at the final step of the podium, as would Clark. It's been a frustrating year for Speedy Dan Clark, certainly, in the Ticketmaster car, as well as for Servia, who took over the 7 car for the Forsyth Indycar team 4 races into the season. For both these drivers with a lot to shoot for over the final 28 minutes of racing here today. Hey, Tuesdays this fall, you can ride with 4 guys in the fast lane. They'll be your cure for the common commute. United they drive, divided they stall. It's called Carpoolers, a new comedy. It's coming Tuesdays this fall on ABC. Start here. 28 minutes to go. Live in America. The Champ Car Generac Grand Prix of Road America. 10th race of the season. Can Clark and Servia move closer to the top here? We'll come back and tell you at Road America. We welcome you back live to the Champ Car World Series at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 10th race of 2007, the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix of Road America. I'm Rick Benjamin with Jan Beekes, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner on pit road. Your leader is Sebastian Bourdais, gunning for his 5th win of the season. Standing start as we recap the action for you here today. Lights out from 5th spot, the white car. Bruno Junqueira ruled to have jumped the start. He had to take a penalty, a slow drive-through on this very long pit road at this 4-mile racetrack. His team owner Dale Coyne, 500 starts for his team today. Not a happy situation. Now, on lap 1, 3-car incident. Simone Pagenaud, Paul Tracy, Ryan Dial knocked the nose wing off Dial's silver Generac car. Dial would retire a little later. Graham Rahal's had a great day. He is 2nd right now. Good move there to work his way inside Will Power, who's now behind the wall. Rahal getting by the Ozjet car of Robert Dornbos, 2nd in the championship. Will Power, problems of the 5 car, the Aussie Vineyards machine, his 2nd DNF in 3 races. Power's championship hopes take a hit. Now watch this. Dornbos and Clark battling, the 2 teammates. Well, they come together and the nose wing gets ripped off the Ozjet car. Dornbos gets the car turned around in the safe area, drives it over the curbing to knock the front wing away. He has been to pit road. They fixed the car, but he's 13th. Catherine Legge, new paint scheme now on the other Dale Coyne Sunny's Barbecue car. Car number 11. Catherine Legge at the moment shown 15th. Here a year ago for the PKV team, one of the most frightening moments of the year. had a rear wing issue on her car. It was painted pink a year ago. Take a look back at what happened here. Get back and show you that. This is what happened as we take a look. This is the wing coming off. And it was a violent wreck as we take a look at Catherine Lake's car on the backside of it. That's where the incident happened a year ago. And Catherine right now running by herself on lap 32. She's 6 laps down. She spent a lot of time on pit road today. Currently 15th for the Dale Coyne team in car number 11. Working lap number 40. 23 laps of action to go, or 23 minutes, I should say, to go here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin on a beautiful day. Packed house all weekend here. The fans really turning out for this Generac weekend, as it's called this year, the Generac Champ Car Grand Prix of Road America. Up in the front straightaway. Catherine trying to find the right combination with the Dale Coyne team, the Sonny's Barbecue group in this 11 car. They've really struggled all season.
They have, and she still has a great attitude about what was, as you said, one of the scariest moments that we have seen for a long time. And she certainly recognizes that she dodged a huge bullet there.
As we watch her running live here at Road America. It was a year ago here that she endured a huge wreck.
When people think about me at Road America, they see this pink car flying through the air and hitting the fence and disintegrating, basically. The first time I knew I was in trouble was literally just before I turned into the kink. And all of a sudden, the car just picked up a lot of speed. That's all I could think was, this isn't going to be good. And then when I kind of hit the fence and everything happened, I'm like, oh, goodness. And so they got me out, and they had to put me in a backboard, make sure that everything was okay. And I said, make sure my dad knows I'm okay, because that's the main thing. You know, he would have been freaking out. And that kind of like wrenches at the old heartstrings, to be honest, because you never think what you're putting everybody else through. You know, you always accept the risks and have a healthy respect for what's going to go on for yourself, but you never think about how other people would feel if anything happened. So that was pretty scary, but I was fine, and I wanted everybody to know that I was fine. You know, me standing out there and waving and what have you was like, hey, you know, I'm good. Well, I'm good to go again next time.
Catherine Lake smiling now, but one of those incidents that just frightened everybody when we were here 1 year ago at Road America, and that's Catherine's dad. Talking to Henry Richitelli on pit road, discussing things here today as Catherine Lake cycles around in 15th spot, 6 laps behind the leader. Paul Tracy's on pit road. The Meerman's Ozjet bunch on pit road, and the race leader, Sebastian Bourdais, about to make his stop with just under 21 minutes of racing to go. And here comes Bourdais in the McDonald's car number 1. He has dominated here. He's led most of the first 40 laps of this one. Feels as though this track owes him one. They've been fast here all the time, and Jan, you and I were talking about this before we started here today, how he felt like, you know, today was the day to make it pay off. Having the fastest car hadn't really worked for him until this year. Cameron Steele, he's headed your way.
1 turn front wing, guys.
You can hear right there Kenny Seawick telling him 1 turn of front wing. You remember the Newman Haas Lanigan team got their first ever win here at Road America with Mario Andretti. So definitely looking for that. You can see the adjustment in the wing. I can also update you, as Sebastian is away, that Robert Dornbos is on pit road changing an upper wishbone on the front right. That is from contact he had earlier with Dan Clark that we all saw.
And the report back from Michelle, while we were in break, she did have a chance to ask, since we mentioned Dornbos, that she did check with Keith Wiggins, and they don't know what was wrong with him that led to that contact with his teammate.
Well, it was an incident heading down into turn 5. Justin Wilson, meantime, the CDW 9 car for the R Sports team, making his stop from 6th.
Must have that car. I was going to say, they must have that car close now, because we're seeing half turns instead of 10 turns.
There's that Plantronics camera, left front corner of the machine, the CDW 9 car. Wilson pitting from 6th position now as the clock winds down. 19 minutes, 20 seconds of racing to go. Probably time for 13, 14 laps. Alex Figge down and away as well. Figge was up in 8th position. It's been a very good day for Alex Figge in the Generac car number 29. Hey, what goes on behind the scenes in NASCAR? We've got what you don't get to see normally. Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central the next few weeks on ABC. The real life of NASCAR's top drivers as never before. You can see inside. Cameras rolling around the clock, seeing everything there is to see. And if you think it gets hot on the racetrack, just wait until you see NASCAR in prime time, Wednesday night at 10, 9 Central on ABC. Speedy Dan Clark.
Right on the mark, big guy.
Running second in that 4-car, Bill.
Oh, this is a big pit stop for this team right now. Running so well today, the final pit stop of the day for Dan Clark. They're not making any changes to the car other than for the tires and the fuel. And even the chief engineer, Will Phillips, who's out there helping on the pit stop, just directing Dan in, and he's away.
Did add just a little bit of front wing. There's Bourdais. Rahal would be the other car that we want to keep an eye on to see where he cycles through. It certainly appears as though by that shot that Dan Clark has slotted himself into second spot.
As we watch the McDonald's car, Bourdais, the race leader, Rahal was on the Cosworth power to pass button as Clark came off pit road. Rahal trying to gobble up Clark there, burning up some of that extra 50 horsepower. Well, when we come back in Road America Live, we'll see if Rahal can sneak by Clark and get back to second.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
New for this season is the Mazda CX-9 SUV that Champ Car has converted into safety vehicles. Now, the director of the safety team is Lon Bromley, and we look in the back here, it's a very confined space. Lon, what are we looking at?
Well, in this little confined space, we carry our Homacho hydraulic rescue tools, our water bottles for firefighting, our onboard firefighting unit with booster line, and our medical kits and all the other miscellaneous straps and equipment needed to provide our safety to our drivers.
Now, this was about a $40,000 conversion, but they had to do very little to this car performance-wise. Only some stiffer springs, but the power plant is the same as stock.
Beautiful Mazda CX-9s, the Homacho safety team, a big part of the Champ Car World Series. On board with Graham Rahal in the Metazone car number 2. You're watching the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix at Road America. ESPN on ABC, live coverage of the Champ Car World Series with about 14 minutes of racing to go. I'm Rick Benjamin. Jan Beekes is alongside Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner on pit road. It's been a terrific day for young Mr. Rahal. 10 seconds behind his teammate Sebastian Bourdais. But the Metazone car is third right now. Speedy Dan Clark with his best outing of the season by far. He is second. He's about 2 seconds in front of Rahal. And there's that battle as we take a look down on the backside of the racetrack. That black helmet, that Darth Vader look for Speedy Dan may be paying off for me. And sometimes you have to shake things up, change things a little bit, change your luck.
But he'd have to change all of his hats that he sells everywhere, that he wears himself. He wears his own baseball cap that I've always thought says Dan Clark in huge letters on the front. I don't know. Would you wear a hat with your own name on it?
No.
In big letters? Anyway,
maybe
works.
It's the thing in Britain.
It works for him, but now he's going to have to go just with the stealth black. But look at Graham Rahal. He is definitely closing in really quickly. Last time around, 0.4 of a second faster than Dan Clark. He has the bit between his teeth.
Rahal with just 15 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining up here on the front straightaway. Heading toward the bridge. Here comes Rahal as the laps on the clock wind down. Hey, let's check in now on today's Mazda virtual pit stop, where you try to make the right call. Our question today, which driver had the best strategist of these three? You can still use your mobile phone. Text in for A, Sebastian Bourdais, B for Robert Dornbos, C for Neil Johnny. 55333 is the text number. Each text vote costs you 50 cents. We'll update you a little later on the broadcast. Mazda's virtual pit stop, and Robert Dornbos, the leader in the clubhouse, you might say, with 47% of the vote right now. 45 laps are complete. Bourdais with a 7.5 second lead over Speedy Dan. Rahal starting to sneak up on him, Michelle Beisner. Graham Rahal wants a shot at least at second here today.
Oh, yes, he does. And I'm joined now with the lovely Debbie Rahal, mother of... How many times have you been to this track in your life?
Oh, I'd say probably about 28 times now.
28 times?
I come for the roasted corn, not the racing.
Well, it'd be lovely to see Graham get a win here. We know that Bobby never did. But also, I know you haven't seen this yet, but Graham is featured in this article. What did you think about that?
I was very proud that he was asked to be featured in that, and they came to the house and interviewed him, and we had a great time doing it, and I'm very, very excited for him that he's getting the recognition.
All right, wonderful. Back to the...
This has been one of those tracks where Bobby Rahal, Graham's father, of course, a former Champ Car World Series champion, never got to victory lane. 6 times on the podium, 3/3, 3 seconds in 19 tries, never a win. Now Graham may get to the podium today.
Yeah, she said they came to the house and interviewed him. He actually lives in an apartment above the garage, but it's not your average apartment. It's a 2,000 square foot bachelor pad above the garage. And figure this is a guy who's 18 years old who drives around in an atomic orange Corvette Z06, has all kinds of other hot cars like an Audi RS4, 911 GT3 he's got on order. This kid at 18 years old has got the tiger by the tail.
There you go. Life is good if your name is Graham Rahal, no question about it. Justin Wilson in the CDW9, the red and white car. He's got Tristan Gomendy right with him there in that pay-by-touch car for the PKV team. 8th and 9th. They're separated by about 8/10 of a second. Now, Wilson's car has gotten progressively better, but I think you've got to give a call to Gomendy here today. No question about it. Playing hurt. He's really struggled all season. Jan, you pointed out earlier, he'd had a big wreck in testing here earlier this season. That's what really kind of banged him up. He's battled back. He's right in the hunt of the top 10.
And while he was hurt, he did that big tumble on the first lap, or at least the early laps of Toronto. Did a big, he's on the power to pass. We start to see the flash of the light at the back of the car. Tristan Gomendy is on the button.
Heading toward turn 1. Can he get the drop here on Wilson? Inside.
Oh, but can he stop? Ooh, that was close.
Gomendy picks up 8th position on the pay-by-touch car. Great move for the French rookie. And here comes Wilson. Wanted to come right back at it.
Well, you can't lift. I mean, when you've used 18 seconds of power to pass, you're like, I gotta go for it. And he almost couldn't stop.
Had to throw the anchor out there going into 1 to try to get woed down.
Turn 1 is 120 miles an hour, but he approached on the power to pass about 190.
Wilson not giving up the fight. The driver of the CDW9 car. Now, we told you at the top of the broadcast, Sebastian Bourdais moving on to Toro Rosso in Formula 1 next year. Justin Wilson, one of those drivers, rumored to be in the mix for that seat at Newman, Haas, Lanigan. Cameron Steele.
Well, I'm here with Jimmy Vasser, and he's telling me 1 second he's getting ready to talk to Tristan. You're saying push, push, push. Are you surprised after the problems you guys had here in testing that Tristan's coming with the goods right now?
Not really, no. Tristan's, he's a fast driver, and, we wish we were running a little bit better. I mean, we're not at the front end of the grid, so, he's having a good battle here with Justin. I think he just flat spotted his tire. Unfortunately, I think Neil's going to have to stop. I think he came in too early on the first stop, and it's been all green. He hasn't been good mileage, so that kind of sucks. But Tristan's having a good battle here.
A legend, Jimmy Vasser, giving us the update. Also on Neil Johnny, who has not been hitting his fuel marks. I suspect he's going to have to come back in.
And I think Jimmy pretty much tells it like it is. If you get off a sequence, it's not a good day.
96 Champ Car World Series champion Jimmy Vasser, not one to mince words as he helps call the shots for Neil Johnny and Tristan Gomendy. Back in a moment with more live from the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix at Road America after a word from our local ABC stations. The list of winners in the Champ Car World Series here at Road America is legend. Jacques Villeneuve, Mario Andretti, Alex Zanardi back in 1997. Paul Tracy, a winner here, gunning for his 3rd today. He's a 2-time winner. Bruno Junqueira's won twice here, including in 2003 for Newman Haas at that time. Alex Tagliani's only career win came here in 2004. One of the drivers who has yet to go to victory lane at Road America is the race leader, the 3-time and defending series champ, Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car number 1. He's got a 7-second lead over Speedy Dan Clark with 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go. We talked to Catherine Legg, talked about her earlier, the huge wreck she survived here a year ago. Well, her day at that newly repainted Dale Coyne Sonny's Barbecue 11 car comes to a premature end. They had a fire in the hole there. They had to spray one of the fire bottles on the motor, and Catherine's day is done. She is behind the wall, and she will not see the checkered flag. This will not be one of her favorite racetracks. Might turn out to be one of the favorite racetracks, though, for Alex Tagliani in the Walmart LXN2 car. He's got a top 5 run going here. He's in front of Alex Figge on the racetrack right now. Figge's a lap down in 13th after him. That driver spending some time in the top 5 earlier. Tag from 6th on the grid, 5th right now. He has put together a string of very good laps, but he's about 5 seconds behind Oriol Servia. So 4th not really in play here as we get down to the last couple of laps today, live at Road America, the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix of Road America, 10th race of 2007 in the Champ Car World Series. Bourdais by 7 seconds over Dan Clark. Running order top of your screen, courtesy of Generac. Ray Hall in 3rd. There's Servia 4th. Neil Johnny at the moment being shown in 6th position behind Tagliani.
But remember that Neil Johnny, we heard from Jimmy Vasser, he is also due on pit lane, so he'll give that one up.
As the laps wind down, yeah, Vassar alluded to the fact that they just didn't quite hit their fuel marks. You'd hate to have to stop now with probably 3 laps to go, less than 3 laps to go at this point. Paul Tracy struggling, one of the drivers we talked about at the top of the broadcast. They've been chasing it all weekend, the Forsyth Indycar team. Really a lot of turmoil there internally, but they brought Mo Nunn in as a consultant, and he will certainly help get them turned around. They've helped Oriol Servia get to 4th from 14th. Here comes Neil Johnny to make his final pit stop of the day, flashing by us. Tracy at the moment in 11th. Not bad, might get a top 10 out of this. Cameron Steele.
Well, very unfortunate for Neil Johnny in the Red Bull Gulfstream car, and I spoke with Jimmy Vassar, as you guys said. I also talked to Mark Joss. He says Neil is amazing in the car. The problem is he just has a hard time hitting the numbers and learning how to get the fuel economy that he needs here.
And Cameron, that was one of the first things when I met Neil Johnny. They were trying to teach him in preseason testing, and he said, I have never had to save fuel in a race car in my career, and this is totally foreign to me. And he's getting much better, like you say, Cameron, but it's a tough art to master.
He hasn't learned that yet, but he would admit freely he did learn how to block previous to coming to Champ
Oh, yeah, you learn that all the time in Europe.
That has not been an issue here today, as Tristan Gomedy, his teammate, right at the moment, running in 8th. There's Justin Wilson, 9th. 10th place belongs to Bruno Junqueira. Let's get on board the Sonny's Barbecue car. Qualified 5th, was penalized for jumping the start. Junqueira trying to get up into the top 10. He's in the top 10 right now, sitting in 9th position. So Bruno with a decent day for the Dale Coyne team. Meantime, his teammate behind the wall, Michelle.
That's right. Catherine Legg, you are out of the race. What happened?
Unfortunately, we've been having problems all weekend with the car, and we were just kind of going in, trying something, seeing whether that was the problem, going back out again. And on the last stop there, we pulled in, and they told me to get out of the car because it obviously just caught fire. We think one of the fuel lines burst, but we're not sure.
With the luck that you're having here in Road America, are you looking forward to maybe going to Europe?
Yes and no. I mean, it's 2 years in a row I've been lucky here, I guess you could look at it that way. But I'm not really looking forward to going to Europe unless we fix it, because at the moment it's just so dire. It's desperate. We're all scratching our heads, and it's really important that we get it sorted before we go over there, because I don't want to wreck my reputation over there as well, you know?
We wish you the best. You will not wreck your reputation. Back over to you.
Our teammate Bruno Junqueira trying to reel in Justin Wilson for 8th position. Field getting the 1 lap to go indication. 1:20 left on the clock. Looking lap number 52 here today. Just a couple of cautions early on. You were thinking that it would be 58 laps if we went all green. And with just those 2 cautions, looks like we'll end up at 52 laps.
Start your last time lap when you pass. It will be your last lap when you pass the start finish.
Kenny Seawick talking to Sebastian Bourdais, and boy, isn't that a sound you love to hear. And he's on the power to pass. You say why? It's because bonus points. He knows how to get bonus points. He's waiting until the last lap of the race to see if he can put down a flyer. You get 1 additional point if you have the fastest lap of the race.
CDW telemetry on today's car number 1.
You see that quick? That was a 189. So that power to pass does the job, that's for sure.
18 seconds of time left, so he's got enough time to hit the button
once
more.
Again. He'll use it on every straightaway because you get 18 seconds each time. He'll use it every straightaway. And let's see, normally this would be about 180. With that extra 50 horsepower, again, you got to be careful here. I mean, obviously you get a lot more points for winning than you do getting the fastest lap. But if you get both, it's even better.
Yeah, ending up in the weeds would not be how we'd like to wrap up the day. It's been a big week for Sebastian Bourdais from Le Mans, France. Races out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Trying to win his 4th consecutive Champ Car World Series title, on his way to his 5th win of the season. And it's really been an amazing run for Bourdais since 2003. Won a couple of races in that rookie season, and then in 04 he became the kingpin here. McDonald's team for Newman Haas Lanigan up on the wall to watch their driver bring it home today. Bourdais 6.8 seconds in front of Speedy Dan Clark. This is a great day, though, for Clark. And the Minardi Team USA, folks. Their championship contender, Dornbos, has struggled. He'll end up 14th, 4 laps down. But their other driver, Clark, who is expected to be a prime contender this season, who's battled hard all year and really has had his problems. Clark looks like will come home second. But here's Bourdais, final turn, final time in 2007 at Road America. He's wanted a win here. He'll finally get one. The winner of the Generac Champ Car Grand Prix at Road America is Sebastian Bourdais.
Great car today, Craig. Thank you.
Fireworks going up to celebrate Bourdais' 5th win of the season, and he adds to his championship lead. Robert Dornbos, second in the points coming in, ends up 14th, 4 laps down. A huge points day for Sebastian Bourdais. Now a good battle here. This is for position. Paul Tracy, Simone Pagenaud. This is for 11th spot, and Tracy goes off. Tracy gets pressured and goes off. He's got a problem, it appears.
There's a definite problem coming down Hurry Downs.
Justin Wilson, Tristan Golmandy for position. This is for 7th. Up the hill, Golmandy, it appears, will score 7th at a track where he was injured earlier this year. Wilson will have to settle for 8th in the CDW9 car. Jan Halen, we've heard, had run out of fuel. Looks like he might have some nose damage on the Graphic Print 34 car. He will end up in 6th, though. Halen did not run out of fuel. Good day for Halen in the Conquest car for Graphic Print. Jan Halen gets credit for 6th as Bourdais spins the victory donuts. Cameron.
Well, I've caught up with engineer Craig Hampson, and Craig, a thing of perfection. It seems like you guys hit everything, every point you could get, including the fastest lap at the end. What was the magic?
Well, I think everybody worked really, really hard, and I know Sebastian desperately wanted to win in Elkhart Lake before he left the United States. You know, it probably looked easy from the outside, but the guys worked extremely hard all weekend. We lost a gearbox, big explosion on Saturday morning. Pedro and the crew, they had to change the back half of the spare car onto the prime car, and then Sebastian took it out and put it on pole by 1.6 seconds. So really proud of everything everybody did here.
An amazing display. With the news of going to F1 and all the things that are happening, do you feel like there was the pressure kind of lifted? Everybody's been talking about so much things and so many things. Was there more pressure or less pressure this weekend?
I think things are better. I mean, it's a distraction for Sebastian, obviously. You know, if you were worried if you were getting a different job or you were going to move to a completely different country, it would be on your mind. And now I think that it's lifted off his shoulders and he's going to be able to just drive fast.
There you have it from Craig Hampson, knowing how to engineer it.
Well, he was the fastest in the joint all weekend long, no doubt about it. Sebastian Bourdais wins the Generac Grand Prix at Road America, his first win here. We'll be back to talk to the winner live in just a moment. First time in his Champ Car World Series career. 5th win, though, of 2007. Bourdais with 2 quick qualifying runs, the fastest lap of the race. A great, great run indeed for Sebastian Bourdais. He's with Cameron.
Well, we've caught up with Sebastian and Mr. Newman, Mr. Haas, and Mr. Lanigan, all here congratulating Sebastian Bourdais. And so much going on, Sebastian. I know you wanted the win here. How gratifying is it? Perfect weekend.
Yeah, perfect weekend. Great car. Thanks to this McDonald's crew that, you know, they've done so well here. And it was pretty frustrating from times to times, but today was just the greatest day here at Road America for us. And we could really show the speed of the car, and it was a great result for the team.
Not only for the team, but the other drivers in the championship charge also having problems. It's like a bonus. Kudos for you today.
Yeah, I haven't seen the point standing yet, but it looks like it's a very good day. So, you know, as well, Graham's on the podium, so couldn't be any happier for the team owners.
Definitely an awesome day for Sebastian Bourdais, a great winner here at Champ Car, and a great job by the Newman Haas Lanigan team.
That was his dad, Patrick, who jumped in and gave Sebastian the kiss in victory lane. Good run for Dan Clark. His best finish is second. Ray Hall.
Driver here this weekend. What a performance, but it almost became undone, Dan. Earlier in the race, contact with your teammate. Take us back. That was such a close call.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started nearly last and had an awesome first stint. God, I was really driving the wheels off that and just taking a car near every lap. And then and the second stint was neck and neck with Rahal, and then we caught Dornbos, and I got past him and got on the brakes, and I don't know, there was some mix-up there, and that's really bad because, you know, we don't want that in the team. You know, he's my closest ally out there, so, you know, I'm sorry for him and hope he had a good finish there. I don't know where he came.
Truly a breakthrough weekend for Dan Clark.
Speedy Dan adding to his reputation, second here today at Road America. Championship standings now, 10 races, 5 remain in the season. Bourdais adds to his lead hugely this weekend. Now 37. It started out at 12, Jan.
It's a case really where he has set the mark. It's now his championship to lose.
And the tie for 5th. Rahal and Serbia now knotted for 5th in the championship. Remember, Serbia hasn't run all the races. Let's get downstairs to Cameron Steele.
Well, Graham getting kudos from his father, Bobby Rahal, here. And Graham, it's got to be a proud moment landing on the podium.
Yeah, it's good again to be on the podium. I mean, it's our 3rd this year now, and the car felt really good today. The whole Metazone team did a great job putting us up front. Unfortunately, when those guys took the early yellow, they had just enough fuel to stay ahead of us, and that's just how it worked out at the end.
A tough break for Graham Rahal, but a great job landing on the podium. We'll send it back upstairs.
Now Graham Rahal on the podium again. 3rd spot in the Metazone car number 2 in the Rookie of the Year standings. The Roche-France Rookie of the Year title. Robert Dornbos with a healthy lead over Rahal. Johnny, Simone Pagenaud, Tristan Gomedy 5th in the top 5. Michelle Beiser.
Hey, Oriol, you know, you told me this weekend that you really enjoyed this track because it was challenging for you. Were there any challenges specifically that kept you off that podium?
Well, it was a challenge. I mean, we started 14th, but I'm very happy with the work the All Foresight team did, and you know, finished 4th. I thought we had the podium, but it was close. Next time, it's a great result for the road cars for us.
Congratulations, back to you.
14th to 4th today for Oriol Serbia. Great run for the Forsyth Indycar team. Well, it's been fun to be with you today at Road America. ESPN on ABC. Live coverage today of the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix of Road America. A reminder, the Champ Car World Series continues with round 11. We'll head across the Atlantic in 2 weeks. Live coverage of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Belgium on ESPN Classic Sunday, August 26th at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope you can be with us then. It was a wild one here today. For Jan Beekes, Cameron Steele, Phil Stevens, and Michelle Beiser, I'm Rick Benjamin. We wish you well and say so long from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Sebastian Bourdais earns our congratulations with a dominant run to win the Champ Car Generac Grand Prix at Road America. This has been ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Thanks for watching ABC.
This has been a presentation of ESPN on ABC.